Hey everybody, this is Robert Burke. Welcome to episode number 22 of When to Play. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about a little two-player card and dice game called Arena Roma II. This is a Stefan Feld game, and I think it's something that you might enjoy. I really like this game. I got this game as a free add-on when I kickstarted Clean Games' Edo project, which is a game I have reviewed previously. But this game is something I pull out a lot when I've just got one other player and we don't have a lot of time, but I want something fun. So hopefully in this review, you'll be able to determine if Arena Roma II is something that you can fit into your collection. So first, let's talk about the artwork and the graphic design and the components. The artwork is okay. I think it's pretty good. It's not art that made me say, wow, that's beautiful. It functions though, and it is attractive. It's not fantastic though. But again, artwork is your opinion. You might love it. The art on the cards is the same thing. It's very functional. The graphic design is very good. I think the iconography in this game makes it very easy. And the component quality is good. The cards are pretty decent quality. They're not really high quality, but you're not really shuffling and going through cards a lot in this game. So I don't think it's something you have to worry about too much. And the edges are white, so that helps, prevent wear and tear. They may be a little bit thin for you. The dice are fine. They're just normal, regular six-sided dice in 3 different colors. And then you've got little cardboard tokens that are about 2 millimeters thick, and they're fine. And then you've got these cardboard pieces that you hook together that will show different dice and different iconography on them. And they're fine. They're about 2 millimeters, I guess, as well. So they're fine. So the components are good. They're not fantastic, but I think they suffice, especially for the price of this game. The insert inside is good. You can put stuff underneath, and it's got good spots to place your cards and all the components. And it's a good size small box as well. It's something that you can even fit in your backpack when you're on the go. So component quality is good, not great. The artwork is good, not great. The graphic design, I think, is really good for this game. It's very easy to understand what's going on by the iconography that they put into this game. The rule book is very well done. It's got great illustrations. It has a key for every single card in the game that will give you a little description of the card if there's ever any question, which is really, I think, going over and above for this game. It's laid out very well. The important items, rules in the game are highlighted. Stuff is pretty easy to find, so I'm very happy with the rule book. And the game comes with multiple rule books for different languages as well, which is nice. So if that's important to you, the game does come with different languages for the rules as well. So what is Arena Roma II? Well, thematically, the game it works. It doesn't, you are kind of in Rome and you're battling each other, but it's not like a gladiatorial combat. You're also, you're using building cards and character cards. They could be senators from the Senate, or they could be war machines or gladiators. All kinds of different stuff. And what you're trying to do to win the game is gain the most victory points. So to win this game, if you can collect all the victory points, then you're automatically going to win the game. If your opponent runs out of victory points, then you're going to win the game because you have more victory points than your opponent. So at the beginning of the game, each player is going to face off, and each of the players in the game are going to receive 10 victory point tokens. So they're labeled with different numbers, and they have a little olive branch on them, and you're going to get 10 of those. The rest of them are going to go into a common pool. So there are ways in this game where you can lose your victory points and put them in the pool, and there are ways you can win your victory points by taking them from the pool. So when that pool of victory points runs out, whoever has the most total victory points wins the game. Or obviously, if you collect all the victory points, then you are going to win the game. If you lose all your victory points, the game is over and your opponent has won. So it's like that kind of push and pull. It's not you're just collecting victory points. There's a push and pull for those victory points going back and forth. It's the number you have is raising and falling. So that is a very interesting mechanic for a victory point based game. You're also going to, in the middle of the table, you're going to connect these cardboard pieces that just have different die roll numbers on them from 1 to 6. In addition, there are an icons for collecting cards, an icon for collecting money, and then there is also an icon for a bribery. So the bribery, which is this one actually, and this is the money. So what you're going to do on your turn is, well, first every player is going to get 5 of these cards as well. And these cards do different things. Like here is an Aries card. And this one, the opposite building card, is placed on the discard pile. So in the game, you're going to, this is going to be laid flat on the board, and you're going to be playing cards underneath the different die rolls that are shown here on this cardboard pieces. So if I play this Aries underneath a 3, when I roll a 3, I can use that card's special ability. So cards come and go during the game. If I want to place dice on the card icon here, I'm going to draw as many cards as the number I roll. Same with the money. If I place a die on the money, I'm going to take as much money from the supply as I have rolled. And the last thing is bribery. So bribery, you can place a card as well, but the cost to play the card is going to be whatever number you put on that bribery icon. So it's very interesting. You are trying to determine the best cards to play to beat your opponent. Some of the cards will destroy their buildings. Some of the cards will take out their character cards. Some are war cards where you are going to attack the card opposite, or maybe you're going to attack the card diagonal opposite. So a lot of different things. Some of them have to do with victory points that help you collect victory points from the pile. And obviously that can be very important because you win the game based on those victory points. So it's a real push and pull dynamic in this game, in Arena Roma II, where you really get that sense that you're fighting each other, and your die rolls are important, and your card draws are important. So with that being said, obviously there is some luck involved in this game because it has dice and it has cards. So if you're the kind of player that does not like random elements in your game, then you might have a problem with this. If you do enjoy random elements in this game, you are going to enjoy it. But with that being said, there is strategy in this game. Are you going to be warlike to try and take out your opponents to make their life difficult so you can catch up and win? Or are you going to go just for the victory point cards so you can really try to get those victory points and clear out that victory point pile in the middle to win the game? So there are different ways for you to play this game. But you're not going to be able to do what you want to do if you don't actually roll the dice that you need at the time. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about this game. So the money is pretty important in the game as well, because to play a card, you need to pay the cost of it. So you'll see up here on the top right side of the card here, there is a number on that coin, and in this case it's 7. So this card costs 7 money to be able to play it down. And to activate it over here, if you could see it, you could see here there's a die icon. So that die means that to activate the card, once it's played, you need to activate it with a die. So, and also on the bottom here, it will show you the defense value of the card. So if somebody attacks this card, if your opponent attacks it, in this case, they will need to roll 4 or better to destroy this card. The very simple battle mechanic, very simple, economic part on how you can play cards. And also there's going to be 7 spaces on the board where you can play cards. And for every space where you do not have a card, you are going to lose a victory point. So by attacking your opponent and getting rid of cards when it's their turn, they're going to have to get rid of victory points. So that is a very viable strategy in this game to keep their cards out of play so that they lose victory points, and hopefully you're gaining them so you can win the game. But like I said, there's other ways you can win too by just focusing on collecting victory points and not worrying so much about being an offensive, militaristic player. So it's got some good different paths you can take, which make it interesting. The amount of cards that you have in the game make it very interesting, and you'll find after you play for a few times, you'll come to like some of the cards more and tend to favor certain cards more than other cards depending on your play style. And then the dice rolling element is there, and I personally like dice because it can make it exciting, right? If you make that roll and destroy your opponent's card, that's good because now they're going to have to lose a victory point. So those dice rolls are important, and that's what makes dice rolls exciting, right? It makes you get up out of your seat and scream. So if you like dice rolls in your game, if you like that kind of thing, then this is something you want to try. Now, it is a 2-player game, so if you only play with a group and you don't have the opportunity to play 2-player games a lot, then this probably isn't for you. But if you have a spouse that likes gaming, or if you find yourself in situations where you need a good 2-player game, this is a great one, and it only takes about 30 minutes or less to play, so it's right on the borderline there of a filler game. I don't know if I would call it a filler game because sometimes it can run a little longer than 30 minutes, but it's always good to have a game like this in your collection. If you arrive to your game night early, for example, and somebody else does, and you're waiting for more people to arrive, this is something you can pull out and really have a good time with. You don't have to think too hard. It's not a brain burner. It's a fun game. You're collecting cards. You're rolling dice. You're trying to attack your opponents. You're trying to take their victory points. You're trying to gain victory points to win the game. And I've seen the game turn on a dime too, where victory seemed clear for one player, but something happened. The dice rolls went the other way. Things got turned around, and the player who you thought for sure was going to lose ended up winning. So that kind of stuff for me is fun as well. But again, if you like a lot of strategy in your games, if you don't like random elements in your games, then this is not something that you're going to probably like. So let's look at what some different people have said in their comments as they've rated Arena Roma II, and hopefully that will give you some perspective on the people that don't like it, what they're saying, and the people who love it, what they're saying. Hopefully that will help you determine whether this is a good game for you or not. These are comments left by people that have rated the game very low. So let's see. The first one I've got here is a 3. Stormseeker rated it a 3 and says, a horrendously boring game which is based largely on luck. I don't like the way luck plays such a huge role in the game. So yeah, like I said, it's dice and card games. And one of the reasons I started this video series is because some of the comments I read drive me crazy. It's a card and dice game. Of course it has luck in it. What were you expecting? Were you expecting Puerto Rico? It's got dice. It has cards. Of course it has luck. And there's nothing wrong with luck in a game. Luck can bring excitement to a game. If you don't like luck, if you are like Stormseeker and don't like random elements or luck in your games at all, then this is not for you. Don't play it. You should, whenever you see a game that says it's a dice game or a card game, avoid it because you don't like luck. Stick with Euros or stick with war games or whatever your genre is that you enjoy. Weiston says, way too random and decisions are both obvious and have uninteresting consequences. I can't believe the good feedback it gets. was a gift, played it 3 times, and traded it away at the first opportunity. So yeah, at least he has an excuse. He was given it as a gift, but he doesn't like luck either. So that's why they don't like it. But does that mean that the game deserves a rating of a 3? No. It just means that he doesn't like those kind of games. Period. So let's see what the people who have rated a 10 or rated it very high have said about it. Okay, so Mark has rated Arena Roma II a 10, and he's left a very lengthy explanation to back up his 10 rating. So I'm just going to read some of what he said because I think it was very well thought out. He says, first of all, possibly the greatest card game I own. Then he talks about how the components and what you get in the game. But he says the game is a frantic confrontation with more back and forth than a platter of stuffed olives, carried shoulder high by a pretty young lad at a console's banquet. You really will screw the other player over in ways that remind me of Magic the Gathering, and that is not a comparison I make lightly. Some whisper that certain cards are unbalanced, and they might be right, but I say fight and manipulate your way around those cards to victory. No Caesar conquered his people without ruddy hand wrangling. Roma allows you to fight back from the brink. If you find yourself losing in a way that can keep both players on the tips of their sandals, unlike most other two-player card games, it sometimes can really seem like you're windmilling your arms to stop yourself from tipping over into the lion's den. Games can be that close, swinging wildly, and you always have a great time in the process. And I got that same feeling about Arena Roma that Mark has got. Now, I don't know if I'd rate it a 10. I like to avoid ratings, actually, and right now I'm trying to remove all my ratings from games I've rated on Board Game Geek, because again, a lot of it is my personal taste and what I like in a game. So for me to give it a rating, it doesn't really make sense to me, because what I might love, you might hate. And I don't really want to, I think Mark did a great job explaining why he gave this a 10. And I kind of felt the same way. It's got that real tense back and forth, push and pull. You never feel like, even when you feel like you're at the brink, you're going to lose, there's a way to come back. And it's exciting. The dice rolls are exciting. The card plays are exciting. It's a fun game. I feel the theme could have been anything, but it works well for the mechanics. And it's just a fun, quick card and dice game. So if it sounds like something you would like, then I would suggest you pick it up. I think you can get this for about 20 bucks new. So very well priced as well. So hopefully this review has helped you figure out if Arena Roma II is something for you. Again, you have to like random elements. If dice rolling is exciting to you, you're going to like this game. If you like a Roman theme, that's a plus. If you don't like random elements, stay clear of this game. If you have trouble playing with only 2 people and don't want a 2-player game, then this obviously is not for you because it's only for 2 people. So I'm Robert Burke. This was episode 22 of When to Play, and we'll see you soon with episode 23. Thanks.